Whenever Marvin would travel to the city, he would always lodge at his friend Wallace's house in Billings, Montana. But it was this spring when Marvin arrived to Billings and went straight to Wallace's house. He found out that it wasn't just him and his buddy anymore. Someone else had moved in with him. It was his new girlfriend, Cassie. "Wallace, you should have told me you had company. It wasn't a problem to arrange another place to stay." "Why, what's wrong? You don't like her? The guest room is still unoccupied." "No, it's not about liking her or not. It's just I wasn't expecting someone else. And definitely wasn't expecting all these cats. Where did these cats come from?" "Casey's a nice girl. You'll like her. And these are her cats, Luna and Percy." "There's only two? I thought I saw another one." But by the first impressions, Marvin couldn't seem to like her. She was everything Marvin stayed away from. Cassie was a pet lover, and now the once silent, relaxing house was infested with 3 cats. Cassie had brought them over from her apartment when she moved in. Marvin only awkwardly smiled and watched the cats roam around the house. He suddenly felt like an outsider here, and feared offending Wallace's girlfriend to tell him his grudge against cats. Although it wasn't anything illogical, Marvin was just a little allergic to cats, and apart from that, he basically hated them. They gave him the creeps. And Casey's cats never stayed put. They were all over the house, the front yard, the backyard, especially the gray one that was always in Marvin's way, sleeping on the couch or the bench in the patio or the garden. "Get out of here, you pest." Fortunately, Wallace caught on to Marvin's frustration and had all the cats shifted to the backyard. Nature, however, wasn't in support with Marvin, and neither was Casey. It started raining heavily the next morning, and the cats had been meowing since dawn. "Wallace, can't we just bring in the cats till it stops raining?" "Marvin is our guest, Casey. He's only going to be here a few days. We should make him comfortable. Besides, your cats are fine in the pet house outside." Although the cats had been moved out, everything about their very existence still lingered in the house. Cassie had redecorated everything to suit her cat's needs. Even the guest room where Marvin always stayed smelled like lavender, the carpets were fluffy and stringy, and the bright colors were a pain to the eye. The visit was turning out to be horrible, and soon enough Marvin fell sick. It started with sneezing, wheezing, and coughing, and finally Marvin was in bed with a fever, practically bound to his room. What was unexpected was how Cassie was caring for him, while Wallace would be away. "Don't worry, you'll be better in no time. I made the soup with my own hands. I hope you like it." Or do you have an unusual resentment towards soup like you have with my cats? Funny, you see my condition and question my resentment to cats. No, it's not that. I can see it in your eyes. Your hatred towards them is uncanny. Why is it so? Uncanny? That's the word that describes cats themselves. They're nothing but evil. Aren't cats a sign of bad luck? I don't believe in bad luck. For all you know, this can be a curse. I've seen how you behave around my cats. Have you not heard that cats are a living urn for the human souls of a deceased, tortured one? What may seem like a cat in your eyes may be something searching for a new beginning and a different end. Marvin was shocked to see how serious Cassie had become. "Whatever it is, you better keep that gray cat of yours away from me." Cassie laughed out. "I was joking. And what are you talking about? I don't even have a gray cat." "Gray, black, or white, keep them all away from me." Cassie and Marvin spoke for a while before she let him be. Marvin could sense she wasn't too happy with him in the house. It was around 10 that Marvin fell asleep. In the middle of the night, he woke up to stressful fever sweats. He restlessly stayed in his bed trying to sleep, while he started to hear a scratching, tapping noise outside the window. Marvin remembered he had kept it open to allow some air. To his shock, he saw a cat sitting on the windowsill, staring at him with the most mesmerizing eyes he had ever seen. Marvin quickly pulled out of bed and shooed the cat out the window and locked it shut. "You annoying, hideous creatures." The next day, when Marvin woke up, he felt worse than the day before. He remembered the cat that entered his room. When Cassie arrived that morning, Marvin was ready to give her a piece of his mind. "Can't you keep your pets in control? My life has become miserable in a blink of an eye because of them. And you don't believe in bad luck. Had I not mentioned to you already? You've brought a curse on yourself. They will leave you with no choice. Or maybe no will to even make a choice. You know what they say, don't you? If you hurt the souls trapped within the cats, they come to take your own by night, leaping onto your chest, draining out your soul." Cassie looked intensely into Marvin's eyes before she let out a smirk. Marvin looked at her bewildered. "That was a joke, right? Are you okay?" "Sometimes what is false is easier to accept than what is the truth." Marvin shook his head in disbelief. When he had the hot soup Cassie had brought him, he felt a little better. But soon after, his condition started to worsen again. He called in Wallace to have a talk with him. "Wallace, I've probably become a burden for you. I didn't expect to fall ill like this." "What are you talking about, Marvin? Don't worry about a single thing. I've told Cassie to look after you." "That's actually what I wanted to talk to you about. Cassie seems to be quite upset with me lately because our cats have to stay outside. She's been telling me some unusually creepy things, probably trying to scare me away. I don't want to blame anyone, but she's young and naive. You don't think she's tried anything crazy?" No, you're misunderstanding her. She can be a little expressive about her anger. That's actually how we met. She has a strange attachment to her cats. People are often scared of her, and it humors her to scare people with crazy superstitions about cats that people often tend to believe, so it also works. She doesn't mean any of it. Don't mind her. "Oh, okay. Perhaps I'm the one taking things a bit too seriously." That night, Marvin felt a little guilty of alleging Cassie of something wicked. But he couldn't help the strong instincts he got whenever she spoke of her cats. Whenever he ate the food she prepared for him, his condition only got worse. Marvin had been awake for long hours of the night, when suddenly he flinched to the meow of a cat. He looked by his windowsill and saw the same cat sitting there. There was something about the cat that Marvin couldn't take his eyes off of. The way its eyes were unblinking, it gave Marvin the shivers. It jumped down and circled around him. Marvin suddenly felt frozen. He wanted to move, but he couldn't. As he lay still in bed, the cat climbed up and walked towards him, closer and closer, staring into his eyes. Marvin felt his chest constrict, his breath running out. He felt as if he were dying. He wanted to scream, seeing the cat's eyes glowing green, as he felt like his life was being sucked out of him. The next morning, Marvin woke up anxious. He looked around. The window was strangely locked. Had it all been a dream? Marvin looked into the mirror. He noticed a scratch on the side of his neck. This can't be a coincidence. That girl said she didn't have a gray cat. I was right. She's been planning this. When Cassie came to serve Marvin, he immediately pointed her out. "You think this is funny? You've been intentionally sending your cats to me every night? So they've been visiting you. They harm some and they give some. Maybe you just need to change your mind about them," Cassie chuckled. "I've had enough of your nonsense. This is the last time I'm warning you. You keep your cats away from me." Marvin was fed up from being sick in his bed for nearly a week now. He was fed up with the cats. He knew he had been harsh with Cassie. That night, Marvin stayed awake looking out the window, but to his surprise, the cat didn't appear when it usually did. Perhaps the talk with Cassie worked after all. Marvin finally went to sleep, but within a few hours, he woke up. It was dawn. The skies were red. The cat was sitting on the windowsill, staring at him. As soon as Marvin heard its meow, blood rushed to his head. Marvin grabbed his knife and opened the window. The cat jumped off the sill. But this time, Marvin chased after it. It ran into an alleyway beside the house, where Marvin caught hold of it. Today, Cassie will learn a lesson she needed to learn a long time ago. When Marvin returned home, he dropped onto his bed, feeling extremely unwell, and soon fell asleep. Marvin was feeling better after his nap. It was moments before he heard Wallace's car in the driveway. He was home from work. He heard his friend unlock the door and come inside. Marvin prepared to meet him, when suddenly, the door to his room burst open. Wallace looked horrified. Sweat trickled from his head. His eyes were opened wide in anguish. Marvin jumped up. What happened? It's Cassie. Someone broke in. Marvin was horrified to see Cassie's lifeless body laying in her room. A wet trail led out the window from her remains. Marvin ran out and followed the trail. It led to the alleyway where Marvin had been earlier this morning. The cat was no longer there. Marvin looked at the paw prints on the ground, leading back to Cassie. How can this be? I didn't take her life. I didn't do this. I only got rid of the cat. Marvin was devastated. He couldn't believe what he was looking at until he heard her voice. Cassie's voice behind him. What was the point of taking my life, Marvin? You went too far. You should have remembered. I have 9 lives. Click on the subscribe button and check out more awesome videos on our channel. And don't forget to press the bell icon because you know it's interesting.